How's it going, guys? Arnold here, and in today's video I will be basically talking to you guys about my interactions with my Yale admissions officer, as well as reading some confidential emails I had with her. I mean, they're not really confidential, it's just, private emails that I had with her. But without further ado, let's get started. I will not be mentioning her name in this video, even though you can probably find it online, just for her own privacy's sake. Before we look into the emails, I want to give a background story. I want to tell you guys about something that she told me personally when she visited my high school. Some of the tips that she told me is that admissions officers really want to look at the positives of your application. So even if you've had some bad circumstances or negative things in your life, they really like to see an optimistic attitude and you basically learning from whatever situation that you have to be in. Even though this might sound kind of obvious, a lot of applicants tend to overflood and make their application in a way to have the admissions officers pity them, and that's something that they don't want. She also said one of the most important rules that I advocate for, which is context, the context of your situation. For example, if you're a low-income kid in Connecticut, you are not going to be compared to a rich person in California. Everything is relative to your location and your area. This is basically the first email that I got from her. A Yale representative is coming to Central Magnet High School, that is my school, and the Yale admissions office just basically emailed me, hey Arnold, we thought you would like to know that Marissa Kogan, at this point I don't care if you guys know her name, you can pretty much find her online, but they basically let me know that she's going to be visiting my school, and I definitely recommend that you guys, especially if Yale is in the area, for you guys to go and visit, because this is going to be very useful to you, especially if you have the opportunity to talk to them. And now the next email that I got from her was definitely not the best. Basically, she asked for my SAT subject tests, and they were wondering why I didn't report the scores. And even though I listed my SAT subject test scores on the common application before taking it, once I took it and once I got my scores back, I realized that I actually didn't do too well on them, so I decided not to submit them. So she was just basically making sure, even though the deadline passed, if you still want to submit them, you can. And I was like, nah, I'm sorry, I don't know if I did that well on them. So she was like, it's alright, because they are recommended but not required. And then she continued to ask me things like, oh, what does P1 stand for on your report card? And P1 is basically the progress report, so it's the grade that you have in the middle of a semester, which doesn't matter. But she was just curious because she didn't understand exactly what it meant. So that's what I mean by context is important, because they really do look at how your school is structured and how grades work in your school. But yeah. And then she gave me a personal letter that was written on that admissions letter. I might show that soon, but it was just so humbling, so I just said, hey, thank you so much, and thank you for when you visited and whatnot. And then I asked about the 2018 Yale Educator Recognition Program, which is basically a program where you nominate a teacher or a guidance counselor who helped you on your progress, and if you nominate them and if you get in, they're basically rewarded this gift and this press release, and I really wanted to do it for my teacher. But yeah, I just emailed her and she was like, oh, it is easy to think of you as a future Yaley. It was an honor to read your application, which truly meant a lot to me. And then she told me when I would be able to send nominations for the Educators Award. Next up, she emailed me showing the dates for Bulldog Days and when I would be able to meet her. And then I was like, I'm sorry, even though I was at Bulldog Days, I apologize for not being able to see her because I was not able to meet her because everything got so busy. But Bulldog Days is amazing, and on a side note, please say hi to me if you're at Bulldog Days, it's going to be awesome. And the next one is pretty boring. I just needed documentation excusing absence from school during Bulldog Days. And then she sent me the letter. And then this was just a little thing. When I submitted my housing and advising form, I chose gender neutral suite, but I wanted it to be all male suite. That was very little, very small. I don't even know if I was supposed to email her for that, but I did anyways. And then this email was kind of recent. I sent this a few months ago, actually, and I found out actually that she visited my school again, and I was wondering if there was any way I could help become an ambassador towards my school. And then she was like, oh yeah, I gave you the permission to go back to your school and to speak on behalf of the admissions office, which is very cool, making those connections. But yeah, for the most part, that's pretty much it. That was me talking and emailing with my admissions officer, just in case if you guys were curious on what things you could ask your admissions officer and what kind of things that you should be expecting to receive. It was a very chill conversation. She was an amazing human being. Hopefully I get to meet her again soon. So yeah, that is pretty much it for this video, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.